She wakes before the sun, every morning her eyes heavy, her body tired but her heart still beating with one reason: her little daughter, her only child, the reason she still breathes, the reason she still hopes. She ties her hair, quickly puts on her worn shoes and walks into the quiet street where the world still sleeps. She whispers a small prayer and begins another day. Her name is Maria, and her daughter is Lily, a little girl, with a smile bright enough to break the hardest stone, but behind that smile hides a sickness that slowly eats her life away. The doctors had said it will take everything from her, even her breath, unless she gets treatment soon, and that treatment was expensive too, expensive for a woman who worked at a small diner cleaning tables and washing dishes. When Maria heard the cost, her knees went weak. She felt like the sky had fallen on her. She looked at the doctor, her eyes filling with tears, and asked, "How long does she have?" The doctor sighed and said, "Maybe a few months, maybe less." She left the hospital that day with Lily sleeping in her arms, her heart trembling, her mind full of fear. But she knew one thing: she could not give up. That night she sat beside her daughter's bed, watching her breathe, counting each breath as if it was a prayer. She whispered to herself, "I will save you no matter what happens, even if it takes everything I have." The next morning she went out, searching for work. She walked from street to street, asking every store, every cafe, every place that might need someone to clean or cook. Some said no, some ignored her, but she kept walking until she found a small bakery. The owner saw her, eyes filled with pain, and gave her a chance. So now she had two jobs: the diner in the morning and the bakery in the evening. But soon she realized it still wasn't enough. The bills kept coming, the hospital kept calling, the cost of the medicine was too high. So one night after Lily had fallen asleep, Maria sat by the window, looked at the stars, and whispered, "Please God, show me a way. I cannot lose her." The next day she saw an old lady struggling with bags and helped her carry them home. The old woman smiled and said, "I need someone to take care of me at night. Would you do it?" Maria smiled through her tears and said yes. She didn't even think, she just said yes. And from that day she started her third job. Her days became endless, her body became weak, her eyes had dark circles, her hands were full of cuts and burns, but her heart never stopped. She would work all day at the diner, then run to the bakery, and at night sit beside the old woman until she fell asleep. Sometimes she would doze off sitting in a chair. Sometimes she would wake up crying quietly so Lily wouldn't hear. Lily would ask, "Mama, are you okay?" And Maria would smile and say, "I'm just tired, my love." But inside she was breaking. She was scared, she was alone. But she could not stop. Months passed, the weather changed, the city moved on. But Maria lived in her own world of pain and hope. She had gathered almost half the money by then, and the doctors had started the treatment. Lily's face was getting pale, but her smile never left. She would hold her mother's hand and say, "Mama, you're my hero." Maria would laugh softly and say, "No, my love, you're mine." But one night, while coming back from her third job, she fainted on the road. Some people found her and took her to the hospital. When she opened her eyes, she saw the doctor who treated Lily. He looked worried and said, "Maria, your body is exhausted. You can't keep working like this." Maria looked at him and said, "Please, don't stop me. If I stop, she will die." The doctor didn't say anything. He just looked at her with pity and left. Maria turned her head toward the window and whispered, "I can rest when she's okay." Days turned into nights, nights into days, and she kept going, her feet swollen, her hands shaking. Sometimes she couldn't even eat, but she kept smiling when Lily was around. She kept pretending everything was fine. One evening, Lily drew a picture of them together under a big sun. She gave it to her mother and said, "This is us, you and me forever." Maria hugged her and cried quietly. Finally, after almost a year, Maria had saved enough money. The last payment was made. The surgery was planned. She sat outside the operation room, her heart racing, her hands trembling. She prayed again and again, "Please God, save her, please. Take my life instead, just save." Her hours passed like years, and when the doctor came out, he smiled and said, "The surgery went well. She will live." Maria closed her eyes and tears fell. She thanked God again and again. Weeks later, Lily came home, her cheeks full of color, her laughter back her eyes shining like before. She hugged her mother and said, "Mama, we did it, Maria," smiled weakly and said, "Yes, my love, we did it." But her body had reached its limit, the endless days, the sleepless nights, the hunger, the pain, it had all caught up. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't want to scare her daughter. She just smiled every day, watched her play and whispered silent prayers of gratitude. One evening while watching Lily draw another picture, she felt her heart ache. She took a deep breath, smiled, and whispered, "I love you, my little sunshine." And then her hand fell still. Lily called out, "Mama, Mama, wake up," but she didn't answer. She was gone. She had given everything, her body, her strength, her life. But she had kept her promise. She had saved her daughter. Years later, Lily grew up. She visited her mother's grave. Often she would sit there and talk, as if Maria could still hear her. She would say, "Mama, I'm a nurse, now I help sick children like me because you taught me what love means. You showed me what real strength is." She would place flowers on the grave and whisper, "I will make you proud." The city kept moving. People forgot her story, but for Lily, her mother was still alive in every heartbeat. In every breath she took some. Stories are not told on big screens or written in books. They live quietly in hearts like Maria's, the kind of love that asks for nothing, the kind of sacrifice that shines brighter than the sun. And somewhere above the clouds, maybe she watches her daughter smiling, finally resting, knowing she won. Because sometimes a mother's love is not about living forever. It's about giving everything so that her child can